channel here over on Subscribestar or Rumble, Odyssey, etc. So Hollywood is down $500 billion with a T. Not when I first read this yesterday, I thought it was I just my brain translated that into millions. It's not half a billion is what I thought. $540 billion is $500 billion. That's a lot of money according to anyone. Why is Hollywood down $500 billion? Because cultural Marxism ruins movies. It's weird that not more people are specifically talking about that, even the con ops on the right. This isn't, which, yes, Breitbart, Gateway Pundit, Post Millennial, PragerU, shit, whatever other ones you can. Do all that right wing media? Yeah, that's not right wing media. Um, it's weird that they're not talking about anything real. Well, that's the point of con ops, to keep you within a narrow spectrum. You can have fierce debate within that spectrum, but not 1 millimeter outside that spectrum, or they'll send Ben Shapiro after you to ruin your life. Cultural Marxism ruins movies. As it turns out, it ruins nations. Also, as you're finding out, this isn't Russia or China 100 years ago. Pushing cultural Marxism is harder when people can get on social media, including the alt social medias. And originally, when they started off, the left wing was going, oh, okay, well, good. Gab and Telegram and Odyssey and BitChute, that's fine, because people will be isolated over there, and they won't spread their ideas out into the larger social media. But it's like but people have multiple accounts, so the ideas nucleate, and 4chan, Gab, and Telegram seem to be the three places where this stuff comes from, and then they propagate throughout the mainstream social media. And Elon Musk buying Twitter is that is a game changer. Even though I currently am sitting out a week off for some reason for just quoting facts. It's weird. Twitter still censors. The difference is they don't kick you off permanently. They're just giving you little day, 24 hours or week off type of stuff. Anyway, so this isn't the old days. I mean, people can get on social media and you can shine a spotlight on all this kind of stuff and have these conversations. You can shine a spotlight on who is propagating this stuff, who's controlling the narrative, who are these people who are pushing certain narratives in Hollywood or within social media. Hey, I can't help but notice that you replace European people from a European story, but you don't do it with non-European stories. Gosh, can we talk about this on social media? Why do you hate European people so much? And why shouldn't we call you out for the vermin parasites that you are? If you want to start a fight on Twitter, get on there and say that no lives can matter until white lives matter. Brace yourself for the impact. So Hollywood is pushing, Twitter is just so much fun right now. Hollywood is pushing this narrative that is not finding an audience. That is a simple way of framing it, though sometimes they do. As long as they're careful with the globalist propaganda. Batman and Spider-Man both did well, and those stories replaced most of the characters from they replaced the secondary characters. So I guess people are kind of okay with replacing secondary characters. It's just but even then, it's like, God, both those movies. I mean, if you like those movies, you're probably like borderline disabled. But Hollywood's also had a string of bombs and underperforming films where the propaganda is just too strong, or, gee, Hollywood's getting a little preachy. And it would be one thing if they were angels, but then you look at, like, gee, how many of these people are on the Epstein Island flight logs or been cheering for Weinstein for the past 20 years? Oh, so you're the people who are telling us to drive Priuses, but you guys have private jets that you fly around the world, or yachts. Like, so you took a private jet to a climate conference that you could have just used a internet video calling. Yeah, why didn't you just do that? Oh, we thought we had to burn 100,000 gallons of fuel. Sorry, liters, for the to get to a climate conference. Like, yeah, that's weird. So what's the carbon footprint of your mansion, Al Gore? Well, yes, the carbon footprint of Al Gore's mansion is quite high. So, Obama, you bought a house right on the water? Yeah, but you're saying something about global warming and the sea levels? But your house is literally a foot above. None of this makes sense. I mean, it's part of the humiliation ritual of gaslighting, where they lie to you right to your face. Where's I going with this? So Hollywood is pushing a narrative that is just not landing with people. No shit. It's not just the big screen flicks that are bombing. It's the streaming cancer that is, whoa. The stuff that's coming across on stream, like, you think the big screen movies are bad. And like, how bad was Batwoman have to be to cancel a $150 million movie? shock. It would have shocked the conscience, as the Supreme Court says. The streaming stuff is that's a whole new level of if you've seen Wheel of Time or Willow, so far from what I've seen, and the Batwoman TV show, which was on TV, that wasn't streaming. I don't think. I think that was on. I mean, I went sailing for all this stuff, obviously. But those were like Willow and Wheel of Time was you really like if you like the cringe farm or you want to watch it with people to it's it's just nothing I would have ever expected them to take what feels like 28-year-old cat ladies and say here's here's hundreds of millions of dollars, make this show. And you look at what they've come up with, you're like, how did you get the money? How does this make it past an editor? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not privy to the behind the scenes stuff. The streaming shows are really no. You shouldn't be paid for any streaming shows. Netflix going, we're not going to let you to sale password sharing or something. Okay. I think honestly you're at the point now that I don't think even people are going to go sailing for a lot of this stuff. Maybe the Disney has the older stuff for kids, but at this point, if you're at all tech savvy, I mean, you get a VPN, a hard drive, and for the cost of 1 year of Disney for the hardware for that, you could just download whatever you could download hundreds of these movies and then just put it on like micro SD cards or put it in a cloud somewhere and just transfer it. Anything that you're legally allowed to transfer, you can transfer it to other parents who want stuff for their kids. That's kind of like before they got super woke. I'm trying to say streaming's on another level. Anyway, think what they did to Star Wars. Star Wars, right? Star Wars. Are we printing money? You should have been printing money. Star Wars should have been. It will never have been like the 70s and 80s Star Wars. Fair enough. But it should not have been like 2015 Disney Star Wars. What they did to 2015 Star Wars. I still get mad. I still get mad when I think back to what a effing waste. What should be done to those people? Public spanking, I'll say. So they turned Star Wars from what was a huge movie event into a TV show with low ratings and streaming shows that most people never. Oh, Mandalorian. Yeah, people heard about Mandalorian. Oh, great, Gina Carano. Oh, we fired Gina Carano. Okay, well then that's the last straw for a lot of people. I don't even know Gina Carano. She seems like a nice woman. She's just no. That's the last straw. There's no need to support Disney after that. And Disney was getting weird with the Florida stuff and they're grooming kids. And Disney's got some. It's not that Disney has skeletons in the closet because Disney was way more based decades ago. They were a family, I don't know, program, whatever you want to call it. Now they're like some kind of San Francisco Anthony Weiner or Scott Weiner, the street festival guys. They're just like they're into some satanic type of stuff. So Andor is a Star Wars show that's out now. You probably heard of it if you're in these circles, but you probably haven't watched more than an episode of it. It just doesn't connect with people. I watched it or some of it, and the impression I came away with is that so all the bad guys are fair-skinned people of the light. I think they had British accents. And so, and I think the lead bad girl was the whitest of Austrian-looking. What do you call those? What's that? That Scandinavian. I don't know. She's got like blonde hair that's so blonde it's white, which I think is beautiful. I love it when they do that. Like she just looks like a stereotype of some Swedish ski school advertisement. She's dressed all in white, and she's like the lead bad chick. And to be fair, they do have a couple of black dudes who are in the Empire also, or whatever they call their version of the Empire. But it's like the goal is to make you think of British colonizers or something. It's like as a reviewer said, it's so on the brain, on the nose. It's touching the brain. It's really really obvious. All this stuff is. If it was for kids, maybe it would fool kids, but then they get older and they start looking back. It's like, oh, it's been propaganda the whole time. And in my day, we didn't have the internet to you couldn't get on the internet to talk about shows. Where nowadays you do, and you've got people who can red pill you on this type of propaganda. So it's like propaganda is not as easy as it used to be, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so all the bad guys are meant to be like, oh, it's the English people, and all the good guys are a diverse, found family of non-fair people, which is like the Bolshevik concept. Yeah, some movies bomb, and when they bomb, it's the Wu flu, and when they tank, they just kind of skip over, or when they, like Top Gun did really well. It's like, oh, what happened to the Wu flu? Oh, it was it took a pause during this movie, and then it came back for the other movies. It's like none of that makes sense, but I mean, none of a lot of things make sense. You got to be real careful talking about that thing. So, gee, Disney, that seems a bit on the nose. So let me get this straight: your story universe for Star Wars is essentially Blonde Man bad. I can't imagine, I can't imagine how different, how worse Hollywood would be if Trump was still in office. It's like you guys won. You got Biden. Shouldn't you be dialing it back? It's like no, foot on the gas. We are accelerating this. How stunning and original. Or you get Wheel of Power or Wheel of Time, Rings of Power, She Hulk. What was it, Game of Thrones? Blood Origin? No, not Game of Thrones. Blood Origin. The Witcher. Blood Origin. And then Willow. I mean, this stuff that's coming out now is really, really hard to take. So a lot of this stuff to me seems like anti-white hate propaganda. If you say that phrase on Twitter, it gets a certain area of the Twitter kids really upset. Why not just make movies that show that you love and value the beautiful people of the light? Make movies with tribal nationalist themes, movies that elevate that tribe of people, us. European people are awesome. I want a Hollywood that can show us how awesome the beautiful people of the light are. Here's the thing. All this obviously sounds tongue-in-cheek because we all know that Hollywood hates this one group of people. They are the eternal fall guy, the perpetual antagonist. You can always degrade and dehumanize the beautiful blue and green-eyed people. We all know. The thing is, if you get on Twitter, you talk like them, their NPR bullshit voice about how you identify as marginalized and oppressed European people. And the thing is, they suddenly they want facts. It's like, but you guys, everything you guys do is an appeal to emotion. I said we feel we're marginalized and oppressed and systemically and systematic. Oh, where is that true? I said we feel it. That's how we identify. We identify as marginalized. You get the idea. You can have a lot of fun on Twitter if you want to put a few minutes a day into this. So we all know Hollywood is not going to come out with a tribal European-based story, a Lord of the Rings from back in the day. That is never going to happen again. When they reimagine these stories, they put non-European people in them. You're never going to get a Lord of the Rings again. Instead, you get Rings of Power, Wheel of Time, Willow, Blood Origin. Suddenly, Africans are the best people to tell European stories. How does and is the reverse? No, it doesn't work. Is the reverse true? Do Europeans go to tell the story of the Messiah? It's like, yeah, the Swedish are going to be reimagining this Messiah tale. Okay, see how well that works out for you. So the stories don't sell, but it doesn't matter because Hollywood's not about money. It's a global cultural Marxist weapon of war. You're in a culture war, and it's run by Hollywood and funded by State Street, Vanguard, and BlackRock. Hollywood is doomed because they are the cultural Marxists. Their finances are tied to globalizing the West. They must destroy the West to win. The financial side of Hollywood is completely effed. But they don't care. If they have to put Disney, Warner Brothers, Netflix out of business, the goal is to push propaganda, not to make money. Making money is a secondary consideration for them. And you think, oh, what a gross exaggeration. Well, I can prove it with this simple thought experiment. Imagine they made a European fantasy story with just the beautiful European people in it, something like the original Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones, just a bunch of white people fighting orcs or dragons or some stupid nonsense. It would be a huge hit. They deliberately are not, just a bunch of beautiful, of the whitest of white girls with, that blonde hair in white dresses and horses and swords and all that kind of crap. That would be a hit. Like, it, I know it, and it's like someone pointed out in the comments, the Lord of the Rings movie from 20 years ago, that hit with everyone, with all audiences, because they know they were seeing something that came from the artist's original vision. They weren't seeing a reimagining of it. Peter Jackson tried to maintain the story as close as possible, and the people who are making Rings of Power are not. They are reimagining the story. It's after. It's, when you do someone's artwork, you write after someone or credit to someone, something like that, to show that you're reimagining it. It's the source material, but when you reimagine it, we're just updating it to put globalist, Marxist, Frankfurt School Saul Alinsky propaganda. Oh, did I say all those things out loud? I mean, we're just updating it. Yeah, but we know who you people are, and we know what you're pushing. Anyway, they're deliberately not making movies that would make money, so they can push cultural Bolshevism. Think about that until it finally clicks. You know, a Henry Cavill movie or a streaming show in a pure European setting would make a lot of sense, and it would make $1 billion. It would make money, and they literally refuse to make these types of shows because they don't want the fair people to watch those movies. Don't say anything in the comments, and you start getting ideas. They don't want you to see yourselves as a tribe. These aren't movies. These are Pravda levels of wartime propaganda, except that the sheep don't know they're at war. There are some people who, anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all next episode.